Ah, great. Well, so since we only have, oops, I should stay close at the microphone. Sorry about that. Will be challenging. I have to jump around all the time. Since we have just 10 minutes, I will skip the introduction. Michael, he knows how it works and what we're doing in detail. I'm Gerhard. We're both working with in Yorizon program delivery. I'm more for the framework and try to present now what we're doing, where we are, and what we try to accomplish in the next couple of months. Just one short question, help me out, just raise your hand. Who in the audience already knows Yorizon? Okay, so I apologize, might be boring, but for the other ones, what are we doing? Yeah, that's the one. We're building, running, and offering data center services to our customers, of course. It's a rendering, but still it looks like that. So you can find the first one in Heiligenhaus, Germany, and it looks like that. Yeah, not too much details, modular concept, water cooling. The funny part is that it's completely made out of wood. So we just need the foundation of the building made of concrete, but all other components from the building are made of wood, from Austria, by the way, like me, so that's why it's worth to mention. And we always need somebody who take our heat. Local heat distribution companies, a swimming pool, a hospital, yeah, whatever is already on the list. That's more or less the idea behind it. What's inside the building? Yexio, a daughter company from Hochtief, our investor, is building the whole data center and running the whole data center. We use Thomas Krenn for all the hardware components, and most of the hardware components, like compute storage. We, of course, use open source to deliver our infrastructure as a service products. Otherwise, we won't be here, obviously. Green energy, I mean, sustainability is one of our major agenda points. So we try to be as green as possible, 100% green energy on one side. On the other side, we try to deliver, or we have to deliver our heat to whoever can use it locally. And beside that, of course, we have infrastructure as a service in our portfolio. Yeah, when we look at the time, I think that's really it. One information, we have a booth out there, so if you think it could be of interest or you want to have, or you want to get more details, please feel free to join us. One of my colleagues, Frederick from sales, will be happy together with Michael and me to deliver more information. What are we doing? Where are we? The first one, as I mentioned before, Heiligenhaus, is already open last month. We have another one, Bad Lippspringe, Germany as well, which is already under construction, should be finished in the first quarter of next year. And the third one will also be available 26, which means next year. And the first step, 15 data centers, starting in Germany, but of course, we're also looking, or already have locations in other countries as well. What do you think, Michael? It's enough, isn't it?
If you want to split half and half, you got some more time. Hi, everyone. I'm Michael, as he said. I have the pleasure to work with Gerhard for a while. Some of you might know me from previous ALASCA, where I wasn't with Yorizon yet. Where I was here with my very own company, which I still am, but today I'm very, very honored that I'm allowed to speak for Yorizon. I'm doing all the technical stuff. Gerhard does the good looking and the explaining, and I get to be the nerd. So if you want to know anything about the technology stuff, feel free to ask me. Like the title of the talk is like ups and downs for sovereignty at scale. And the reason why I think this is a very interesting thing is Yorizon, from the get-go, thinks very differently when it comes to building a cloud. So I've built a cloud in my professional life, and when we did it, we were like, okay, we need a data center, so obviously you check out a co-location, and then you want to have some servers, so you find somebody that sells you servers, and then you find cabling, and that's what you do, and eventually you end up at a cloud. That works if you do it right, and if you have the right partners, which everybody around us involved knows that this works with the open source community. Well, Yorizon does it a bit differently. They didn't start that way. They were looking for help from the get-go because they knew it's not about one data center. We've just heard it's like there's already 15 planned, and they won't stop. Yorizon, there's no stopping at 15 if this works. There's a lot more to come. So certainly, you can't just go and be like, okay, let's try with one. We need to think bigger. So there's 21 technology partners involved from pretty much day one. Like obviously, there's some onboarded during the time, but there's 21 different companies for cabling, for providing service, for installing software, for different aspects of software, and every single one of them is constantly integrating with each other. There's not only, and that's one of the big differences, as we've just heard, it's not only the software cloud aspect, which is like largely what we think about when we are here at ALASCA or SCS, then that's what we think about. But the Yorizon guys, or Hochtief, they are even building their data centers themselves. So it's literally from getting concrete on the floor to the cloud software. Everything has to work end to end. And with that in the back of your mind, it's still not, okay, you have one building and then you do everything from the building to the cabling to the thing. No, from the first day on, you have to think, this is just one data center. And the software and everything that we build needs to actually work for all the data centers, not just one, but all of them. So the great thing that comes with all of this, some very smart people over at Yorizon said, okay, why shouldn't we do this with the open source community? So it's not like the big hyperscalers do it, even though the project is set up to be as large potentially. They didn't say, okay, let's do it on our own terms. They said, there is a lot of good stuff out there, so let's take it and let's strengthen these open source communities, which to me is one of the greatest things that you could do at this point where they are. So, as I've said, I'm the techie guy, so I get to do one more thing, and that's to show you this. Now, this is not for you to run away, please, and this is also not for you to fully read. I think it's not even possible to fully read because it's so small. What I wanted to show you with this is the baseline, and I don't think this is not accurate because it changes daily. Like there's a lot of things that are not in there anymore, and there's a lot of things that are not on there yet that should be on there. Nonetheless, what I think it showcases very nicely is this is a very, very, very complex system. There's lots and lots of stuff to be integrated with each other. If you look at the two central parts, like the system API and the portal, I think the system API has about 20, upwards of 20 different integration points with different software that does different things. So you have the hypervisor. Obviously, the hypervisor runs all the stuff that the customers want. You then have UView from Eurotech, from one of the guys here. They have their dashboard built on top of that, and then down below there's the accounting stuff. Everything needs to be accounted for, but you then only have metrics data. You didn't really put it into an invoice yet, so the system API needs to be able to somehow sort the customer to all the invoicing data and then send it over to the invoicing software, and the invoicing software then needs to be enriched with the customer software that holds all the data. So as you can see, it's not only from like integrating the building with the software in and of itself. I think you could like get a diploma over it if you really tried to dive into it and understand everything. So that's what we're doing. That's why we're here. If you are interested in learning more on how to build this, feel free to address us. In this case, feel free to address me because I, as I said, get to do the nerdy stuff. And yeah, we would be very happy to welcome you at our booth. And otherwise, I wish you a very pleasant day. Have a nice conference and talk to you soon.